Hi, this is Dr. Kaan at the ACL Academy, and today I'm going to teach you the right way to do a quad isometric contraction because it's one of my pet peeves and I've seen it done the wrong way, and I've also seen people develop bad compensations from it. So today I'm going to talk to you about the proper way to do probably the first most important exercise when it comes to your ACL recovery. Before I get into that, guys, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with a friend, and comment any questions you have below. So, why am I talking about the quad contraction? Well, number one, it's the one of the most important exercises you will learn in your ACL recovery early on. And the reason it's so important is the quad muscle will uh, shut down a little bit, get weak. I like to say it goes on vacation, and we want to wake it up early and often. The issue is when people are doing these contractions, they're often doing them wrong. We're often getting what we call a co-contraction. So I'm going to kind of review it with you guys today and go over it so this way you can get a good grasp on it before surgery, and then you'll be able to really activate and engage it, because as soon as you get that quad muscle going, it's not only going to help your knee get straighter, but it's also going to help you get up, walking, and moving. So it's a very, very key factor, key point after surgery, and I'll say it's even a really foundational exercise that we like to do early on. And if you can do it right early, if you can wake up those quads early, you will have a much, much smoother recovery here. So let me get into it right now here. So let's say if you're laying on the table or sitting in a long sit position, either way is probably the first ways you're going to learn how to do a quad set. The biggest mistake that I people see do is we get people doing a co-contraction, meaning when we're doing this exercise, we really want to isolate this quad muscle. We don't want our hamstrings or our glute muscles to do the work. But what happens is after ACL surgery, the quad muscle takes a little bit of a hit, and we're going to find ways to do the exercise, right? Our body's going to cheat, and we're going to develop some compensations. So when we're teaching this, it is important to think about a few different things. Now, after surgery, your knee is probably going to be a little bent. So the first concept that we're going to really try to do is, well, we want to make this nice and straight, okay? Having said that, it may be helpful to start with a little bit of a chew, like a towel rolled up, a soft pillow, or you can just kind of place it behind the knee here. This helps give a little comfort and cushion, but also provides a tactile cue. And the reason this is important is we want to encourage people when they're doing this exercise to push down. The biggest thing that I see is when people try to do it, they push their heel down and not the knee itself, right? I'm going to tilt this a little bit so you guys get a better view of what I'm trying to show here. So when people are doing it, the biggest mistake that I see is they're pushing their heel down, and then it causes the knee to come up, causes my hamstrings to contract and my glutes to contract, right? And we want to avoid that. We want you to think about pushing the back of the knee to the floor, right? Pushing down at the knee and eventually scooping the heel. So the way that I explain this to people is, we'll think about a seesaw is, and one end of the seesaw is your knee, the other end of the seesaw is your heel. So we want to push the back of the knee down to cause the heel to pop, right? That's the goal there. Okay, a couple other cues that I like to use is push down and long, right? When we shorten, our knee bends. So we want to think about pushing the leg down and long, almost like a scooping motion, right? So I'm pushing down and scooping the heel, and that's the way that you should think about when you're doing this quad contraction here. Down and long, scooping the heel, holding that contraction there, versus pushing the heel down and getting a co-contraction where your hamstrings are doing the work or your glutes doing the work. And this way, your knee's not going to get straight, your quad's not going to activate and fire up. So very, very important that you push down into the towel here, push down, scoop the heel, make the leg long. Don't make it short, make it long, okay? And as you get good with this motion, you can challenge yourself further by putting the heel on a towel. And now we have more space here we're working towards, right? So now we have a little bit more range of motion, and we could work that quad set this way. Well, the most important thing is to avoid that treacherous co-contraction, because this is going to develop bad habits and compensations. This is going to keep your quad muscle sleeping and not awake, and it's going to keep your knee bent. And those are all big no-nos here. So when you do this quad set, you think push the knee down, okay? Make the leg long, okay? Scoop the heel. That is probably the most important thing when you're learning this first exercise. And the reason being the quad set or quad isometric contraction, well, it's so important because it helps wake up that quad muscle after surgery. After ACL surgery, what's going to happen to that quad muscle? It's going to get weak. It's going to become inhibited. As I said before, it's going to go on vacation. The reason being is, for some reason, the wiring, the connection, right, the nerves that supply the muscle to work, an issue happens where the circuiting doesn't fire that muscle the right way. And the way that I explain it to people is the nerves are electricity that make the muscles work, right? So when we activate, when we tell our mind or our body to activate that muscle, well, we're sending those signals. And over time, the more we send them, the easier and the faster it'll be to contract that muscle. So we encourage that that particular exercise is done every hour. So you're doing 10 contractions every hour for every waking hour. The more you do, the more volume there is. As I said, that quad muscle will start to fire, it'll start to contract, and the wiring will be better off, right? We'll have a faster signal to that muscle there. So I hope that makes sense in the way that I explain it. You don't necessarily have to have the science behind it, but when the faster we can get that muscle contracted, the better we can keep our knee straight. And that's going to carry over because that's going to help us walk better. It's going to help us exercise, and we're going to avoid those compensations. So do your quad set right the first time. Learn how to engage that muscle and contract that muscle, and the smoother the recovery process will be. Guys, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, spread the word, and we appreciate you very, very much. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time here at the ACL Academy.